Seniors over 65 are 26% more likely to develop deadly blood clots on flights longer than 4 hours. Your oxygen levels drop by 25% at cruising altitude, and 60% of in-flight medical emergencies involve passengers your age. Most seniors board long-haul flights completely unprepared for these hidden dangers. These 13 tips could save your life on your next flight. We're counting down from 13 to 1, ending with the most critical tip that most seniors never hear about. Tip number 5 about oxygen has shocked flight crews, and tip number 1 could mean the difference between landing safely or in an ambulance. Tip 13. Plan your arrival strategy. Let's start with something most seniors never think about. What happens after you land? The flight isn't over when the plane touches down. For travelers over 65, the arrival process can be just as challenging as the flight itself, and poor planning can undo all the careful preparation you did for the journey. Here's what happened to Dorothy, a 71-year-old from Minneapolis. After a 12-hour flight to London, she felt fine during the flight, but became dizzy and fell while rushing to catch a connecting train. The combination of dehydration, jet lag, and sudden movement after hours of sitting caused her blood pressure to drop dangerously low. Don't rush to stand up when the plane reaches the gate. You've been sitting for hours, your blood pressure has been affected by the altitude, and sudden movements can cause dizziness or falls. Stay seated until most passengers have deplaned, then stand up slowly and steady yourself before moving. If you requested wheelchair assistance for departure, make sure it's also arranged for arrival. The airline should have someone waiting at the gate to help you navigate to baggage claim or your connecting flight. Don't be embarrassed about using this service. You've paid for your ticket, and this assistance is included. Plan for jet lag, which affects seniors more severely than younger travelers. Your sleep cycle, medication timing, and even your balance can be affected for several days after a long flight. Don't schedule important activities or medical appointments for the first 48 hours after arrival. Have a solid plan for getting to your final destination. If someone is picking you up, make sure they know your actual arrival time, not just the scheduled time. Flights are often delayed, and you don't want to be stranded at the airport. If you're taking a taxi or rideshare, have the app downloaded and your payment method set up before you land. Consider staying near the airport for your first night, especially after very long flights. This gives you time to recover before continuing your journey and reduces the risk of accidents caused by fatigue and disorientation. Tip 12. Handle connections and layovers safely. Long-haul flights often involve connections, and layovers can be particularly challenging for seniors. The combination of fatigue, time zone confusion, and unfamiliar airports creates risks that younger travelers simply don't face. The biggest danger is rushing to make tight connections. Airlines often book connections with minimal layover time, assuming passengers can sprint across airports. For seniors, especially those with mobility issues, this can lead to falls, heart problems, or missing flights entirely. Take the case of Frank, a 68-year-old veteran from San Antonio. He had a 45-minute connection in Chicago and tried to hurry between terminals. The stress triggered chest pains, and he ended up in the airport medical clinic instead of on his connecting flight to see his new grandson. When booking flights with connections, insist on at least 2 hours for domestic connections and 3 hours for international connections. Yes, this makes your travel day longer, but it's much safer than trying to rush through a busy airport with heavy bags. Request wheelchair assistance for connections, even if you don't normally use a wheelchair. Airport wheelchairs can transport you quickly between gates, help you skip long security lines, and ensure you don't exhaust yourself before the next flight. There's no shame in being smart about conserving your energy. Use layovers strategically for your health. Walk around the terminal to keep your blood flowing and prevent clots. Find a quiet area to check your blood pressure if you have a portable monitor. Eat a proper meal instead of relying on airplane snacks. If your connection is delayed or canceled, don't panic. Airlines are required to accommodate you on the next available flight, and they often provide meal vouchers and hotel rooms for overnight delays. But you need to advocate for yourself. Ask specifically about senior assistance and medical needs. Tip 11. Prepare for medical emergencies. Medical emergencies on flights are more common than most people realize, and seniors are disproportionately affected. According to airline medical data, passengers over 65 account for nearly 60% of in-flight medical emergencies, despite making up only about 15% of passengers. But here's what's encouraging. When passengers are prepared and crew members are informed, the vast majority of these emergencies are handled successfully without needing to divert the flight. The most common emergencies for seniors are heart problems, breathing difficulties, and diabetic episodes. Know the warning signs of the most serious conditions. Heart attack symptoms include chest pain, pain radiating to the arm or jaw, shortness of breath, nausea, and sweating. Don't assume it's just indigestion or anxiety. At altitude, even minor heart problems can become major emergencies. Stroke symptoms include sudden weakness on one side of the body, difficulty speaking, confusion, severe headache, or loss of vision. The acronym FAST can help you remember. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficult, time to call for help. For diabetics, both high and low blood sugar can be emergencies. Low blood sugar symptoms include shakiness, sweating, confusion, and rapid heartbeat. High blood sugar symptoms include excessive thirst, frequent urination, and fruity-smelling breath. If you experience any of these symptoms, don't try to diagnose yourself or tough it out. Press the call button and tell the flight attendant exactly what you're feeling. They're trained to handle medical emergencies and can contact ground-based medical professionals for guidance. Remember, there's no such thing as being overly cautious at 35,000 feet. It's better to have a false alarm than to ignore something serious. Tip 10. Manage sleep without dangerous medications. Long-haul flights often involve overnight travel, and many seniors make the mistake of taking sleeping pills to help them rest. This can be extremely dangerous at altitude, especially when combined with other medications you might be taking. Sleeping medications can lower your blood pressure, slow your breathing, and make you less responsive to emergencies. They also increase your risk of falls when you get up to use the restroom, and they can interact unpredictably with the reduced oxygen levels in the cabin. Instead of medication, use natural sleep strategies that are safer at altitude. Bring a good eye mask and earplugs or noise-canceling headphones. The constant noise and bright lights in aircraft cabins can prevent restful sleep even when you're exhausted. Adjust your sleep schedule before you travel. If you're flying east, go to bed an hour earlier each night for 3 nights before your trip. If you're flying west, stay up an hour later. This helps minimize jet lag and makes it easier to sleep on the plane. Choose your seat carefully for sleep. Window seats let you lean against the wall, but aisle seats let you stretch your legs. Bulkhead seats have more legroom, but no under-seat storage for your personal items. If you absolutely must take something to help you sleep, talk to your doctor about melatonin. It's generally safer than prescription sleep aids, but even melatonin can interact with other medications and affect your blood pressure. The key is planning ahead and using natural methods rather than relying on medications that could put you at risk during the flight. Tip 9. Communicate with the flight crew. This tip could save your life, but most seniors are too polite or embarrassed to follow it. As soon as you board the aircraft, introduce yourself to a flight attendant and briefly explain any medical conditions you have. You don't need to share your entire medical history, but the crew should know about conditions that could require emergency intervention. Heart problems, diabetes, seizure disorders, severe allergies, or if you're on blood thinners. Here's why this matters. Flight attendants are trained in basic medical care, and most long-haul flights carry medical equipment, including automated external defibrillators, AEDs, oxygen, and basic medications. But they can't help you if they don't know what's wrong. Consider what happened to James, a 73-year-old from Denver. He had a history of heart problems, but didn't want to bother the flight crew. When he started having chest pains 4 hours into the flight, he waited 30 minutes before calling for help. Those 30 minutes could have been the difference between life and death. More importantly, if you have a medical emergency, the crew can contact ground-based medical professionals who can provide guidance. But this consultation is much more effective if they already know your medical background. Don't wait until you feel sick to speak up. If you start feeling unwell, chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, confusion, or severe nausea, press the call button immediately. Don't try to tough it out or wait to see if it gets better. Many flights also have medical professionals among the passengers. If you're having a serious medical issue, the crew can ask if there's a doctor on board. But again, this works better if they already know about your conditions. Remember, flight crews would much rather know about your conditions and never need to help than be caught off guard in an emergency. Type 8. Navigate mealtimes and blood sugar. Airline meals are notorious for being high in sodium, low in nutrition, and served at times that make no sense for your body clock. For seniors, especially those with diabetes or heart conditions, this can create serious health problems. The high sodium content in airline meals can cause dangerous spikes in blood pressure and increase fluid retention, which raises your risk of blood clots. The irregular timing can wreak havoc on blood sugar levels and medication schedules. Here's the strategy that works. Bring your own food whenever possible. Pack non-perishable items like unsalted nuts, whole grain crackers, and dried fruit. These provide steady energy without the sodium overload of airline meals. If you must eat the airline meal, eat only half and skip the bread, dessert, and any processed sides. Focus on the protein and vegetables if they look fresh. For diabetics, this is critical. Never rely on airline meal timing to manage your blood sugar. Flights get delayed, meals get served late, and the stress of flying can affect your glucose levels unpredictably. Bring glucose tablets, a small supply of crackers, and check your blood sugar more frequently than usual. If you take medications with food, bring small snacks that you can eat on your medication schedule, regardless of when the airline serves meals. A small package of crackers or a granola bar can be enough to protect your stomach from medication side effects. The key is maintaining control over what you eat and when you eat it, rather than being at the mercy of airline schedules. Tip 7. Master hydration without the bathroom marathon. Staying hydrated on long flights is crucial for seniors, but it creates a dilemma. Drink enough water to prevent dangerous dehydration, but not so much that you're constantly fighting for bathroom access. Here's how to strike the right balance. The general rule is 8 ounces of water per hour of flight time, but for seniors, it's more complicated. Many seniors take medications that affect fluid balance, have kidney issues, or worry about incontinence. The solution isn't to drink less water, it's to drink smarter. Start hydrating 24 hours before your flight, but avoid overdoing it right before boarding. Drink 16 ounces of water 2 hours before your flight, then sip small amounts regularly rather than chugging large quantities. Avoid alcohol completely. It's not just about dehydration. Alcohol affects your balance, increases your fall risk, and can interact dangerously with medications. Even one drink at altitude affects you more than it would on the ground. Limit caffeine to 1 cup of coffee or tea early in the flight. Caffeine is a diuretic, which means it actually increases fluid loss and can worsen dehydration. If you're worried about frequent bathroom trips, choose an aisle seat near a restroom. Most long-haul aircraft have restrooms in the middle of the cabin, as well as at the front and back. Check the seat map when booking to position yourself strategically. For men with prostate issues or women with bladder control concerns, talk to your doctor about adjusting medications before the flight. Sometimes a simple timing change can make a huge difference in your comfort level. The goal is steady hydration throughout the flight without the anxiety of constantly needing the restroom. Tip 6. Pack a life-saving emergency kit. Most seniors pack for comfort, but they forget to pack for survival. Your carry-on bag should include a medical emergency kit that could literally save your life if something goes wrong at 35,000 feet. Start with an emergency medical information card. Write down all your medical conditions, current medications with dosages, allergies, emergency contacts, and your doctor's information. Keep 1 copy in your wallet and another in your carry-on bag. In a medical emergency, this information could be the difference between proper treatment and a dangerous mistake. Include a medical alert bracelet or necklace that lists your most critical conditions. If you become unconscious, this gives medical personnel immediate access to life-saving information. Pack glucose tablets if you're diabetic, even if you don't usually have blood sugar problems. The stress of flying, irregular meal times, and time zone changes can affect your blood sugar in unexpected ways. If you have any breathing issues, pack your inhaler in an easily accessible pocket of your carry-on. Don't bury it at the bottom of your bag where you can't reach it quickly. For heart patients, keep nitroglycerin tablets within easy reach. The stress and reduced oxygen of flying can trigger chest pain even in people with well-controlled heart conditions. Include a small bottle of hand sanitizer and disinfecting wipes. Airplane cabins are breeding grounds for germs, and seniors have weaker immune systems. A simple infection picked up on the plane can turn into pneumonia by the time you reach your destination. This emergency kit takes up minimal space but could save your life in a crisis. Tip 5. Understand the oxygen danger. Here's something most seniors don't know. At cruising altitude, you're breathing air equivalent to standing on top of a mountain 6,000 to 8,000 feet high. For healthy young adults, this isn't usually a problem. For seniors, especially those with heart or lung conditions, it can be life-threatening. The cabin pressure reduces the amount of oxygen in your blood by up to 25%. If you're over 70, you naturally lose about 1% of your oxygen saturation for every decade of age. Combine that with the altitude effect, and nearly 50% of seniors drop to oxygen levels that doctors consider moderate hypoxia. What does this mean for you? Shortness of breath, confusion, dizziness, and increased strain on your heart. If you have any heart or lung condition, even mild ones, this oxygen reduction can trigger serious problems. Before your flight, ask your doctor to check your oxygen saturation levels. If you're below 95% at sea level, you'll likely need supplemental oxygen during the flight. Don't be embarrassed about this. Airlines are required to provide oxygen for passengers who need it, but you must arrange it in advance. Even if you don't need supplemental oxygen, be aware of the symptoms of oxygen deprivation: headache, fatigue, confusion, rapid heartbeat, or feeling short of breath. If you experience these symptoms, inform the flight crew immediately. They can provide emergency oxygen and may need to divert the flight for medical attention. This is one of those hidden dangers that can sneak up on you, so preparation and awareness are key. Tip 4. Prevent deadly blood clots. This is the big one, the silent killer that strikes seniors on long flights. Deep vein thrombosis, or DVT, occurs when blood clots form in the deep veins of your legs. These clots can break loose and travel to your lungs, causing a pulmonary embolism that can kill you within minutes. The statistics are sobering. Passengers over 65 have a 26% higher risk of developing DVT on flights longer than 4 hours. The risk doubles on flights over 8 hours. But here's what's really scary. Many seniors don't even know they have a clot until it's too late. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires discipline. Every hour you need to move. Set a timer on your phone. When it goes off, get up and walk to the back of the plane and back to your seat. If turbulence prevents you from walking, do seated exercises. Pump your ankles up and down 20 times. Rotate your feet in circles and flex your calf muscles. Compression socks are non-negotiable for seniors on long flights. Not the loose support hose you might wear at home. You need graduated compression socks with 15 to 20 millimeters of mercury of pressure. Put them on before you leave for the airport and keep them on until you reach your destination. Stay hydrated, but avoid alcohol and limit caffeine. Both can increase your risk of dehydration, which makes your blood thicker and more likely to clot. Watch for warning signs: leg pain, swelling, warmth, or redness in your calf. Chest pain, shortness of breath, or sudden dizziness could mean a clot has traveled to your lungs. If you experience any of these symptoms, call for help immediately. This is preventable, but only if you take it seriously and follow the prevention steps religiously. Tip 3. Choose your seat like your life depends on it. Most seniors just accept whatever seat the airline assigns them. That's a mistake that could cost you dearly. The wrong seat can increase your risk of blood clots, make medical emergencies harder to handle, and turn a manageable flight into a nightmare. Here's what medical experts recommend for seniors on long-haul flights. Always choose an aisle seat, preferably in the front third of the aircraft. Why? 3 critical reasons. First, aisle seats allow you to get up and move around easily. This is crucial for preventing deep vein thrombosis, those potentially deadly blood clots that form in your legs during long periods of sitting. Window seats trap you in, making it harder to exercise your legs and walk the aisles. Second, sitting near the front of the plane puts you closer to the flight crew and any medical equipment on board. If you have a medical emergency, every minute counts. The difference between row 8 and row 38 could be the difference between getting help quickly and waiting precious minutes while crew members navigate through a crowded cabin. Third, aisle seats give you easier access to the restroom. This might seem minor, but for seniors taking medications that affect bladder function or those who need to stay hydrated, easy bathroom access prevents dangerous situations like dehydration or urinary tract infections. When booking, avoid exit row seats. While they offer more legroom, airlines require exit row passengers to be able to assist in emergencies. If you have any mobility issues, arthritis, or take medications that might slow your reaction time, you could be putting yourself and other passengers at risk. Don't leave seat selection to chance. Your health and safety depend on making the right choice. Tip 2. Master your medication strategy. Here's a frightening statistic. 23% of medical emergencies on flights involve seniors who either forgot their medications or took them incorrectly due to time zone confusion. This isn't just about missing a dose. It can be deadly. Take the case of Margaret, a 72-year-old from Dallas flying to Tokyo. She packed her heart medication in her checked luggage, thinking she wouldn't need it during the 14-hour flight. When her bag was delayed and she missed 2 doses, she ended up in a Japanese hospital with a regular heartbeat. The golden rule: all medications go in your carry-on bag, in their original containers with prescription labels. But that's just the beginning. You need enough medication for your entire trip, plus 3 extra days in case of delays. Bring a copy of all prescriptions and a letter from your doctor explaining what each medication is for. For time zone changes, don't try to figure out medication timing on your own. Before you leave, work with your doctor or pharmacist to create a medication schedule that accounts for the time difference. Set multiple alarms on your phone, and don't rely on memory. If you take blood thinners, insulin, or heart medications, inform the flight crew immediately after boarding. They need to know in case of an emergency, and they can help remind you when it's time for your next dose. Create a medication checklist and check it twice before leaving for the airport. Missing critical medications isn't just inconvenient. It can be life-threatening when you're thousands of miles from your doctor. Tip 1. Get medical clearance before you fly. Most seniors think if they feel fine, they're good to fly. That's a dangerous assumption that could cost you your life. Here's what happened to Robert, a 68-year-old from Phoenix. He felt perfectly healthy when he boarded a flight to London. 6 hours in, he suffered a heart attack at 35,000 feet. The reason? His doctor later discovered he had an undiagnosed heart condition that was aggravated by the reduced cabin pressure. The Federal Aviation Administration recommends that anyone over 65 with existing health conditions get medical clearance before flying. But here's what most people don't know. Even if you feel healthy, you should still consult your doctor 2 to 4 weeks before any flight longer than 6 hours. Why 2 to 4 weeks? Because if your doctor discovers you need supplemental oxygen or special accommodations, airlines require advance notice. Some conditions that seem minor on the ground become serious at altitude. High blood pressure medications can become less effective. Diabetes can be harder to manage across time zones. Even a simple cold can become a serious sinus problem when cabin pressure changes. During your appointment, make sure your doctor checks your oxygen saturation levels. If you're below 95% at sea level, you'll likely need supplemental oxygen during the flight. Don't skip this step. It could save your life. Your doctor should also review all your medications and provide written instructions for managing them during travel. They may need to adjust dosages or timing to account for the stress of flying and time zone changes. This isn't about being overly cautious. It's about being smart. A simple doctor's visit before you travel could prevent a medical emergency at 35,000 feet. Conclusion. Flying long distances as a senior doesn't have to be dangerous or miserable. With the right preparation and knowledge, you can arrive at your destination safely and in good health. The key is understanding that your needs are different from younger passengers and planning accordingly. Remember the most critical points. Get medical clearance before you fly. Pack all medications in your carry-on. Choose your seat strategically. Move regularly to prevent blood clots. Stay hydrated. And communicate with the flight crew about your medical conditions. These aren't just suggestions. They're potentially life-saving strategies based on medical research and real-world experience. Every year, thousands of seniors travel safely on long-haul flights by following these guidelines. Don't let fear of flying prevent you from seeing the world or visiting family. With proper preparation, you can travel confidently and safely well into your golden years. The world is still yours to explore. You just need to be smart about how you do it. You've earned the right to travel comfortably and safely. These 13 tips will help ensure that your next long-haul flight is not just survivable, but actually enjoyable. Safe travels, and remember, the best trip is the one where you arrive healthy and ready to enjoy your destination. If this information helped you feel more confident about your next long-haul flight, please share this video with other seniors who might benefit from these life-saving tips. Your share could literally save someone's life. And if you have your own travel tips or experiences to share, leave them in the comments below. We all learn from each other's wisdom. Don't forget to subscribe for more travel safety tips designed specifically for seniors, and hit that notification bell so you never miss important information that could keep you safe on your travels.